bartender, a.k.a. the classic man. Why? Because I'm serving them up with those classic hip-hop and R&B jams. And, of course, I'm just an old-school dude like that, family. So, hey, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, fam. Of course, if you've been riding with your boy for the past 7 years, you know how much I appreciate the love so much. Hold on, look, I've already got my volume up. Look, I'm always on everybody else about their volume, and here
I
I
did
go
mine.
with mine. You know what I mean? What kind of mess is that? Okay, so here we go, fam. All right, so once again, if you've been riding with your boy for 7 years, man, I definitely appreciate the love. Of course, if it's your first time tuning in and listening to the Redboi Radio Show, I hope you enjoyed this show. And if you do, make sure you always come back for more. You can catch us right now on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, and of course, the audio is always played on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can always listen and catch the show later on that way. So again, appreciate the love. Thanks for riding with your boy. Okay. All right, let me look across the table and let me show some love to my favorite retired twice soldier in the whole wide world. Miss
Hey,
Angela B is in the building. What's going
what's
on?
up?
How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good.
You good? You
I
good?
woke up, so I'm
You
good.
woke up? You good? I see you got your hair done. A little
Yes, got
something
my hair
different, huh?
done. Had to bring the blonde back. They said blondes have more fun. We about to find out.
Is that what that is? Okay. I got you. Of course, fam, we got a very special guest with us tonight, fam. She's just a little bit of everything. Let me just say that. When it comes to owning and learning and being a part of making your craft the best it can be, this woman has done it all. She's been on TV, y'all. She's been in several movies. She's been in theatrical plays. You might have seen her most recently on Abbott Elementary. She's also been on The Good Girl. She's been on Criminal Minds. I mean, she's just all over the place. Heck, one time I was sitting down watching TV and I even saw her sitting in the audience for a game show. That's how much she's working very, very hard, y'all. Y'all give it up for none other than who I like to call Mama Mia. Miss Mia Hunt is in the building.
Yay!
Hey,
Mia, how you doing today?
hey, you done blew my mind, not the audience work.
Man, look, I had to say that because me and the missus were just sitting down. And we love him, and my son, he's into it now, watching game shows, right? So we watch all these old school game shows, and one day I'm sitting there watching. I can't remember the name of the actual title, but I think it's called In a Minute. And Apollo Uno is actually the host, where everybody has to do these certain home
Oh,
type
yeah,
challenges.
yeah.
And we're sitting there just watching like normal, and all of a sudden they switch to the crowd, and there go Mia. I'm like, oh, okay, so she's been working hard for a minute, making sure she is seen on TV.
Man, that grind was real back then. Oh, that's funny.
That is. We was just totally in shock. So that was cool. But so let's get this thing started, Mia. Let everybody know who you are, and of course, you gotta let them know where you're from.
Oh, hey, I started where my cowboy stuff was. But I'm Mia Hunt, and I'm, of course, from the best D there is, Dallas, Texas,
All
born and
right.
raised, Pleasant Grove, stand up. So there's Mia. And right now I'm currently like everywhere, but sitting, talking to you, I'm in LA, Los Angeles, where the palm
Yeah.
trees be. Hey.
That's what's up. That is what's up. And I see that you're making a lot of moves out there.
Man, God's been good. I can't even complain. He's been amazing. Just lining it up and let me knock it down. That's it. That's it. Just stay
Indeed.
ready, waiting on what he got next.
Indeed. Yeah, I think if we're looking back here, I think the first time that we actually come to know one another, I believe you were here, and it was a stage play, and it was by Darren Henson, and it was
Oh
called
wow.
Can't Raise a Man. I think that's when we first actually met. I met you and Dion Q at the same time, and I can't remember exactly when that play was, but taken from that
Yeah.
time, I know that I first met you until now. It's been so many things, like I said, even with the game show that I've seen you in, and you're working very, very hard. So I know you mentioned that the grind is real. How hard has it been, if it any, for you to get your shine on out there in LA since you've actually moved from Dallas?
Um. Well, it's been just lined up years of work way before you saw me on the big screen. Like say, even when you saw me on the audience work, I was definitely working behind the scenes. Whether I was doing extra work, which is now called background work. I came to LA in 2007, but prior to that, I did theater in high school. So I'm just constantly always just trying to, why I do my other profession, which sometimes could be teaching school or it could be driving Uber, whatever I got to do to continue to be in the arts. That's what I do. And so from a little bit right before I met you, 2016, I moved back to Dallas and started doing my first thing, which was theater. And I've always loved theater. I always will. But my whole goal in this game since I started, when I said I wanted to do it at 12, my mom has me on a recording on one of them like camcorders. At 12, I said I want to be on TV. I want to do television. And so I knew in order to do television, I need to get back where they do television at major. You know, I've done independent films and different things like that. So I got an amazing agent, and I call it Black Girl, Black Owned Magic. She, you know, it's two Black women that run this agency, and I call it click the button, push the button. They submit me what they think I'm great for. And in this world now, it's not so much of a hustle of like networking and running around as much post-COVID. So mostly now it's just everything right here where you see me sitting. I turn on the magic. I make this whatever scene it has to be for self-tape. So just about from Abbott or Good Girls or anything that you've seen during the pandemic, I was auditioning my butt off, and I give credit because you couldn't see me, or I wouldn't get that opportunity without my agent being there, being able to submit me on some things. Before you used to hustle, I'd be trying to meet casting directors wherever I could or let them see my work. But once I got in from Criminal Minds On, this self-tape thing is just like get into character. So my hustle is right here at home. Like I get the script. As soon as I get the script, she tell me I got an audition, I go to work. Like, and it's with my kids being a reader, or if I had to call across and have my mama do the reading, so you got to constantly be ready and get going. I'd be out driving Uber and I'd be like, audition, got to go home, got to drive all the way from San Bernardino or wherever I'm at and get to the crib. So, yeah. So it's more of that kind of hustle, just doing the work.
But that's the thing. You just said, but doing the work. You actually doing the work. Some people say they want to be in a certain place, but they're not willing to put in that work. So that's definitely commendable. And now let's start. We're going to start most recent. I'll probably work my way back here, but since this is the most current thing that I know that I've seen you on, and you definitely shine on Abbott Elementary. How was it being a part of that cast now that you know the way the audience responded to that show and you were actually a part of that? How did that make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel amazing. I remember I booked it back in that December, and right before I went on vacation, and I auditioned for it, put my all in it. And then when I got there on set to shoot it, I told Quinta, the creator and lady I was playing opposite of, while we were taping, and it was just me and her and, the crew. And I just said, you got a hit. Like this is going to be a hit. And it was just based on the content for me. Again, I have a background in education. So I started teaching when I was 23, straight out of college. And I taught, we're in the same neighborhood that I grew up in, which was Pleasant Grove. And if you know Pleasant Grove, PG, we got some boogers over there. Because I was a booger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I just remember like struggling, the struggles that being in a low economic neighborhood in the schools. I just remember assigning homework and couldn't assign homework because we didn't have enough books to pass around. So when I saw some of the lines in the scripts about how the kids were struggling, she trying to help paste and stuff, the books are old. I just told her, I said, man, I could have wrote a book or a TV show based on Pleasant Grove Elementary where I was. So to see that she's doing that now, it's going to be on a big platform. I thought it was a perfect show. So to see where it is now, I'm not shocked. I just only wish I was still there. But it's
that's what we were hoping for. I'm not going to lie to you. In the background, we were like, you know what? It'd be nice to see me get a reoccurring role on Abbott because everybody's watching it. And especially now, I know they picked up for 22 more episodes just for the second season, or somewhere 22, 26, whatever it was. It was a lot. So it'd be nice if they could just bring you back.
If they could just bring me and Mama on back, it'd be spectacular. I know me and my agent, she start to see breakdowns where they were looking for teachers. And I'm like, wow, I could have, that definitely would have been more of a recurring, but I'm not going to argue with whatever God got lined up for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I needed that taste, just telling me, you're going to be on a hit show, just more confirmation. So,
yeah. I actually hear, and even when people go online and leave and look at your bio, it kind of mentions how you get your keep it real type of raw type attitude. So even being in that space on Abbott Elementary, we actually could see that. Because, I mean, like I said, I'd seen you before, but to see you there in that role was perfect. when I saw, because that is, you keeping it real, and you got that raw, you got that look like, if that okay with you. I love that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I really, really enjoy, because that's, to me, that's who I saw. And so that was perfect. So
Appreciate
it
it.
was
Yeah.
good. And you know how black folks at. How many replies did you get to that old saying, you know, when black folk, we see people we know on TV, that's my cousin? How many cousins you got now?
I got
Everybody know
1,000
you.
cousins. But I already had 1,000 of them, and a lot of times though it's so funny because it ain't those real cousins that's calling you.
Right.
It's the other cousins. Like, hey, I had a couple of old friends and stuff come back, and they think you done hit it. When you get on TV, they think you got the you got the lotto. No, ma'am. Back to work. Next day, back to work.
That's cool. I tell you, yeah. That's, you know how we act though. We got to see it. Oh yeah, I know her. You know, everybody posting about it and everything else. That's lovely though.
I love it, but that's love.
Yeah, it is, because I remember that night when it first hit. I went on my social media, and of course I'm flipping through. I seen like Corey, several other local actors here that was actually filming live inside their living room and then showing you on the TV. You know, a couple people had to rewind, and but that's a good, wonderful thing to know that this is where you come from, and even though you went on to move to LA for bigger and better things, people still here actually love you and want to show you how much that you are loved as you're getting your shine on. Because I'm quite sure you reach back to them as well, correct? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Corey. When he hit me, he was like, I think he's newly engaged, and he was like telling this girl, I know her, da 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 da. So he said, I was waiting to see if you was gonna answer this phone, and he called me on a FaceTime Live, and of course I picked up. Corey, I mean, and it's anybody. That's me. Yeah. Like, if we down, we down. And Corey actually was part of my success of going on to a lot of the theater projects. He saw me in one play, and then from then on, I was in everybody play, because he would be like, I want her, this, da. So I'm always answer that phone when Corey call.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. And you got anything you want to ask her?
No, I was just saying that you were talking about they had some teacher availabilities on Abbott. You need to go back and apply for those. There was a guy, the guy that's the DA on SVU, and he had a major part. He was actually a criminal, and he got locked up and stuff, and he came back 3 seasons later, and he's a major character now.
Come on.
And I looked at him, and I was like, wait a minute. I had to Google. I've seen this dude before on this show, and yeah, he had a part on there, and he was a major part too.
Yeah, it's so funny. It just depends. It was another show that I've done before, and I probably can say it now. I don't know if I can say it, but the show that I was on before as a co-star years ago, and I was speaking and stuff. They sent me an audition yesterday. Well, my agent sent me the audition. Then when I saw it, some of the criteria is you can never come back on as a different character. Like, I still have to have been that character. So we'll see. So it's just different things like that. That's why Abbott, me going from being a surgeon to being the teacher there wouldn't make sense. Mm-hmm. But maybe they could bring me back and be the mom of the PTA. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll take it. And they could bring Nina's mom back. Maybe I've been busy, but she cutting up again, something.
Right.
So I'm gonna leave that one in Laura's hand. I had a lot of my friends, sorors, everybody writing them for me and saying, hey, bring Nina's mama back, hashtagging it. So we'll see, I'm not tripping. The whole goal is to be a lead on somebody's show, so it's coming.
Yeah, because you can imagine how many viewers they got the first season as it was growing, and now to get so many episodes this season, everybody's going to be watching.
Absolutely.
And so the more you're seeing, the more shine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got you. And speaking of being a surgeon, let's take it back to Criminal Minds. I need to know, and it's okay. I know you're a happily married woman. How was it being in the room with Shamar Moore?
Oh,
ladies gonna want to know that.
I almost fainted. And when I tell you, and I'm speaking to Shamar and everything, that was my first co-star role. When I say that, on network television, on one of the networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and he came up to me and he was like, hey girl, just talking like normal, whatever. And I don't know what I said, but I was like, yeah, it's my first time. I was excited. He said, there's no way it's your first time. He said, you are so natural. Like, you handling it. He said, are you a nurse in real life? I was like, nope, don't know nothing about that life. But I'm so excited to be here that I'm just going to keep it running. And he said, I see you doing even more. And he was just the sweetest thing. And when I tell you, he looked better in person.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't know how that's possible, but
yeah, I'd have been on
Lord have
cloud
mercy.
9 if he said you're gonna be doing more. I'd been like, oh.
He told me that, and I mean, whoo, yeah, yeah. And I ain't had that feeling since when I did Skipping Over the Good Girls, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you watched that, but Manny on there, the guy who plays the bad guy Rio,
Okay.
he's another one that got that Shamar look, that just that look. And he too came walking up to me and told me the same thing. He was like, "You got such a natural ability at this." He was like, "Man, you going." And
Oh,
then they called me back some more. I was like, "Come on." So yeah, so them hunks don't be just hunks. I think they bless eye candy and just beautiful, beautiful spirits.
yeah,
So
put
yeah.
it in the atmosphere. That's where it goes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's a good thing. I know that some of the ladies want to know that when they seen that, how was
Oh
that
yeah.
going? But I know that, like yourself and myself have said it before, it's you come across these, where you see them on TV all the time, and you want to give them all the respect in the world because you know how hard they work. But when you see them and you expect a certain behavior, I guess,
Right.
but then you find out when you're right next to them, they just regular, just like you. They just make
Just
their money
regular.
different, you know. So
Hmm.
that's a good thing there. And of course, and I've seen it in these roles per se. So a few times, of course, I know that you played like you were in the medical field per se. The commercial with the parking attendant, that is straight up Mia. I mean,
Oh.
it's certain roles that I've seen you in that I can
Uh-huh.
tell. Okay, that is you. That's the raw. That's the keep it
This
real
is
person. You know what I mean?
yes, my favorite role.
Is that your favorite? Okay,
I mean, I'm saying it's those
yeah,
kind that's my favorite because I
yeah.
get to be Mia in a sense. You know what I
Okay,
mean? Like just put a little Mia in a little dab. Oh, the parking attendant. I think that was for a show. It was actually Mr. Mayor.
okay. Yeah, that's right. It
Mr.
was. It
Mayor.
was. Okay, gotcha.
Hmm.
So being that is that's Mia. That's your favorite type of role. Other roles you played outside of Mia, which one would you think you found was the toughest to get into that character?
Ooh, the toughest because they all kind of line up,
Mm-hmm.
and I put a little sass, a little Mia into it. Um, Believe it or not, Abbott was kind of difficult because
Was it? Okay.
the Mia, the mama, the mama I thought I was gonna play, she was going off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
and so for her to be more of a professional and understanding and kind of that took, when I was getting ready for the audition, my daughter was reading with me and she was like, "Well, mama, don't be so mean." Like, and so because I wanted to give it a little too, but she was actually a surgeon, an actual working professional, and she just didn't have time. But I thought it was gonna be a whole, once I got to see the whole script, then I had to understand the pullback. And I'm sure it's been plenty of times of those, but um right off the cuff, I'm trying to think of anything. Good Trouble. I don't know if you said that one. I'm like the
that's the
mom.
clip.
That's a clip.
That's the
Okay.
clip. Cause
But
I like, cause I said I seen her before and I couldn't remember, and it was Good Trouble. Cause I used to watch The Fosters, and then it switched over to Good
oh
Trouble.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it was Good Trouble was another one of those, not so sass, not so hard. Cause I started out in this thing, I want to be dramatic. Everything got to be drama, drama, drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But lately, most of all the bookings here of late have been comedic with a little of that sass in it. So Good Trouble was a little difficult because it was more of a meek demeanor, and I can be a little bit of a hunger.
Gotcha. I also remember one time just sitting there. Now, if I know most folks out there who are married, the wives love watching stuff like ID Channel. I always tell my wife ID Channel and
That's
HLN and
research,
Snap and all that
research.
is the devil, because I believe sometimes y'all be plotting, trying to figure out how y'all
Right.
can get away with if that insurance money is good if y'all take us out. but
Definitely.
we were sitting down watching which one of those shows as well, and I saw
Hmm.
you actually play a character in one of those murder type mystery things too as
It was
well.
crazy.
How was
Right.
that doing? Because I mean, you see so many of them, like the Snap, the
I
Fatal
actually could have
Attractions.
been on Snap
Oh,
as Mia. But
oh
that's
yeah,
another
yeah,
interview.
true that, true.
Bring me back for that one later. But that was Murder Loves Company. Woo,
Mm,
you making me think
okay.
like what? Yeah, so Murder Loves Company, that was a trip. I auditioned for it. It was one of those. Well, the audition piece was definitely bring a little of that rawness and everything. Had no idea I was signing up and I was the actual suspect.
Oh
You know what I
wow,
mean? Or that
yeah.
it was involving me that I actually and that was a real story. So that kind of creeped me out. Like this woman really killed this college student,
Mm-hmm.
her daughter's roommate, and for nothing.
Mm.
Like, we getting into it, they cut a lot of it out, but like, we in the kitchen and I'm really like in her face just because she told a part of the movie or something. It was
Oh yeah,
crazy.
because y'all on the couch chilling, eating the popcorn, and
Yeah,
okay,
like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she said something just a little rude to my daughter, but that's her roommate. They play around, and baby, she took it to a whole nother level. And the things that they were saying, like, they was like, "You're gonna go get water, hot water, pour it on her, come back up with a knife, stab her, go back down, and then come back up and stab her some more."
Yeah.
What?
So do those shows have an actual script, or they have like a storyline and you're supposed to ad lib more on those?
That's a good question. It was a storyline and it was a script. But if I needed to add like the confrontation in the kitchen and stuff, like, it's certain things they have to say, I guess, to line up with the true story. So we do have a script. But if something else comes out, as long as I stay consistent with that ad lib, it's fine. But for the most part, they told me what to say, and then just bring your own, make it your own.
So did you have to jump into that part as the killer?
Yeah, that was kind of scary. I mean, I ain't snapped before, but I have at that time I had a daughter in college, and so I had to, like, in my mind, really think about that, like, for real, like. But this lady definitely was unhinged. Like, it was no reason. There's times where my daughter done called me and I'm ready to roll up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you from the
it wasn't
Grove.
even like that. So yeah, that one was a little creepy. Like, that was the action of going in there, and 'cause I ain't never did nothing like that. Where if I ain't heated, like, I'm really gotta pretend like I heated and I didn't like her. Me and the young lady, we were really cool on set, but that was kind of crazy. Yeah, that stabbing part, that was new.
Yeah, because you really had to embody somebody who was deranged, out of control.
Yeah, and they had to. It was like a coordinator, and I'm not too coordinated, so it was like, you going in.
Yeah, don't stab nobody for real.
Yeah, she got to roll over, and then I want you,
Also, it was choreographed. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So knowing that you got into a role that was a real person's life that they went through, as you move forward in this acting business, is there any particular role that you would want to take on that where you actually have to portray someone's true life story?
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't said it probably out loud, so I just go ahead and speak. I mean, I
Hey,
don't
let's
know
put
if
it in the
it's
air.
they don't have to be that dramatic. I would love to be, or if they do a bio or something on Jennifer Lewis,
Oh,
everybody's
wow.
mom, everybody's
I
auntie.
love
Yeah,
her.
auntie. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You talking about keeping it real, keeping it raw. It's
Yeah.
her.
Oh,
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
I would love to have to step into her shoes and try to portray her. She's just such a hoot and so real, and so I would like to do that. But as far as character go, I used to and it could still be in me. I don't know. Nobody ever sees me as it. So, but you remember Monique's character on Precious, the mama? I want me a role like that. I
Oh,
want
wow.
raw, no makeup, hood,
Oh,
cigarette hanging out
my.
my mouth. Like, I want something so raw like that to where you hate me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so, I don't know. I don't know why that. I'm more comfortable now with the comedy. The whole, I get a lot of times I remind people of Niecy Nash or Tashina Arnold, stuff like that when I am like on set or I'm doing something. So I know it's more of a lighthearted homegirl kind of comedic feel, but I also want to do something kind of raw. Viola Davis does a lot of raw stuff, like
Oh, yeah,
she's
yeah.
in Antoine Fisher, and she didn't say too much, but it was so powerful to me.
Oh, very much so. Yeah,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
honestly, sometimes I believe when I speak to people about that, if you don't really remember, I mean, because you see her now and what she does, but it's some folks really don't remember that she was in Antoine Fisher for that brief moment,
Right.
but she gave such a powerful performance. I mean, from the
Yes.
kitchen to the couch, and that's it.
That was
But
it.
and that was it for her. But it was
Yeah.
so powerful that it really makes you remember his mama. As far as
Yeah,
Antoine Fisher is
yeah.
concerned. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. It had an impact. It had an impact, definitely. And that's why I hope that I'm putting it in the air that seeing you on these shows, Abbott Elementary and so forth, people remember that. So if you're out and about, oh, you the one want to show up late to PTA. You know what I mean?
Right. That part.
Yeah.
And I've had it happen more on Good Girls, and it's tripped me out. That I
Okay.
mean, that people recognize me from that, like just out and about, and that tripped me out. Like I was like, okay, Lord, you trying to prepare me so I'll know, and I'm still Mia when but it was just like, I know you.
Mm-hmm.
Were you
Oh
on Good
yeah.
Girls? I'm like, yeah. I mean, it happened to me at a funeral, at my cousin's funeral. I had a
Oh
mask
wow.
on and everything, and I was, talking to family or whatever, and this lady kept staring at me, and I'm like, what's going on? I thought, how it'd be your
Yeah.
old cousin auntie from ain't seen you since she was little, kind of thing. But we had the mask on, and then when we got through viewing the body and it came out, she was like, "Excuse me, are you on TV?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You on Good Girls, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." And then, I was home. I
Oh.
was in Dallas, and that tripped me out. I was fanned out over her fanning on me. I was just,
Oh.
I was so, yeah. She heard my voice
Mm.
because she couldn't really see my face. She said it was your voice, and so we took a picture, became friends. It was crazy, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and you do have a unique voice, so people could probably tell you from others if they're speaking. But
Uh-huh.
even in that moment, though, as she's come up and asked you that question, what does that do to you, knowing that whatever you did, whatever character that you played on TV, impacted someone enough so that they can remember you when they see you in person?
Yeah, I
What does that
mean,
do? Yeah.
it gives you chills. It gives you, especially for somebody who's been wanting to do this all the time. And, I fan out over certain people. I probably wouldn't walk up to them or say anything because I'd be
Yeah.
fanning out so bad. Like Denzel, if I'm like,
Oh
Lord help
yeah.
me. You know
Put
what I mean?
put that in the air
So
too. Put that in the air.
that,
Mhm.
that part. And it's just, is not about how, handsome he is. It's just his acting ability.
Mm.
It's just beyond me, the way he goes into character. So for somebody to even recognize me because that's her favorite show and to pay attention to, I was only 3 episodes. You could probably put all them lines together and get 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it made a difference in somebody actually like that. I mean, I get a lot of it, because now it's social media, a lot in my inbox, and they be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for responding." I'm like, who don't respond? So,
Mm. Yeah.
so it's a
Yeah.
new, this is new to me, like to really understand that, people change, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know what it's gonna look like when I'm the lead in my show, if I'm gonna have that time to
R-
respond. But I would, to me, it seemed like Mia would have me somebody who I want to make sure that I tell, reading it to
Mm.
me, yeah, respond to them because that's important to me. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's important to me to
And I
respond.
believe
Everybody's still a person.
Oh yeah, and I believe a lot of that has to do with where you come from.
Mhm.
Because when I think most of the time when you see people in their spaces, and I'm not saying none of them have, because some people do change, but when you see a lot of folks that have struggles coming up, or the hustle, the grind don't never stop. I mean, like you're doing now. So when you get to that point, it's more appreciative. So when you see people respond to you like
Yeah,
that, then okay, I got to respond back because you were once that person. And
absolutely.
especially with the character, like even from the mom to the waitress, I think folks, especially here from the Dallas Fort Worth area, can relate to those characters too. So it's not
Yeah.
only that, okay, that's Mia on TV, that role
Hmm.
that she's playing, we can all relate to that, especially
Yeah.
being a black woman, working hard, having to go overtime and do more than what you need to make sure your daughter's taken care of. So sometimes your kids may struggle in school, but
Hmm.
you ain't just you ain't sitting on the couch waiting on them to come home and do
Exactly.
everything for you. You actually doing that job. So people can relate to that. And I
Yeah.
think that makes it more better when they see you. You got to think they sit on the couch, they catch that one glimpse of them, and you happen to be that character for them, and it brings a joy to them knowing, okay, I'm her, or I've been
Definitely.
her, so forth. I think that's a
And that
wonderful
was
thing. Yeah.
a lot of comments, like they appreciated Abbott for not making it a typical, she just, got so much to do or whatever she doing while she done miss parent conference, which I went through a lot of that, where we be up there, the parent conference, we had to be at school after school ended at 4, from
Yeah.
4 to 8 o'clock. We had to be there to wait on our parents. And a lot of times we had, like they were doing playing cards or whatever, because you waiting, ain't no parents coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody got no time.
Yeah.
They at work, especially if you're in the hood. You
Yeah.
got
Right.
other things or other kids, they telling you don't bring other kids. So they were just saying they appreciated, that was because my stepfather, he said he thought I was for to open my jacket with a gun or something. So that they liked that they made her professional, and it was about, she was really a working mom, and that was just it. So yeah.
Not only a working mom, but saving someone's life at the same time.
How
You
about
know,
that?
in a
Is that okay
profession.
with you?
Yeah, is that
Right.
okay with you? Yeah, I wanted to make sure he got it out. Is that okay with you?
Is that okay with you?
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I enjoy. Definitely. Now, I want to ask you this question too, because I don't want to jinx anything and say, okay, you made it, right? But I know
Okay.
as you go on a journey, just like all of us, as we're trying to grow our brand, business, whatever that is, you know, there's a starting point, right? And sometimes while you're in motion, going navigating this thing, you kind of look back to yourself like, dang, I remember the day I was here, and now I want it to be here. You know, and you may not think you made it, but there are other people that see you and be like, oh, she made it. She's
Right.
doing it. So tell me, what was a point, if you can remember one, to where you were sitting where it was on set, or whether you had to look back at a couple shows that you've done, or casting that you've been in, and you said, dang, Mia, this is what we wanted. We here. We made it.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That happens to me more often than not because, like I said, first I just want to be on set, I want to be on people, so I became a background actor where you don't talk, you just walking in the background. Not when I tell you, I took that so serious. They were always putting me right next to whoever the main, because I'm acting with no mouth, no nothing. So I was
Yeah.
big, and I kept saying, man, if they just give me a line, I'm in this thing. If I just get a line, you know what I mean? So fast forward, I get the line on Criminal Minds. Now I thought I had made it. I thought, say, I'm out. Like let's go, right?
Yeah.
And then to all the grind with all the other shows of just, getting 5 lines, getting 6 lines. So I want to say Abbott. I want to say it was my first guest star, because where it goes from, the background, you're not talking, then your co-star is more of like 3 or 4 lines. The show is not about you, or
Mm.
you don't make a difference in the show. Like as the waitress, I was just pushing the dialogue or pushing the issue along, but it
Mhm.
wasn't about the waitress. Like I wasn't part of the stuff. But then when the guest star came with Abbott, it was
Mhm.
about that mother. It was about that show. So each time I went like, oh man, I prayed for this. And then, after I had the co-stars, I was like, man, all I need is a couple guest stars, man. If I could do that. Now I have those guest stars, and as an actor, or people who may be listening to that are trying to get in this field, whatever, it's levels. It's definitely levels. So those are easy. I could spit that out. As this is getting bigger now, I can't really audition a lot for the 1 or 2 liners. Now I'm on to 2 or 3 pages on a audition, because I'm trying to get a recurring guest starring or a recurring role. And so each time now I'm kind of almost getting nervous. I don't like to put it out there, but
Really?
nervous. I was like, wait a minute. You've been getting by. You've been going on God's will and your talent, but now you got to put in this work, because now you're competing with people who've been on shows forever. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's starting to be at that line. So now it's like, God, come on, make sure I'm ready. So each thing I've definitely prayed for, and I saw my steps. So now so each one of those were like aha moments, like Oprah would say. But I think when I get that lead and I'm back every week and I'm having to learn this character, you seeing me week in, week out, because that's the ultimate goal,
Mhm.
then I'm gonna be like, whoa. Then I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what it was. And each time I feel that way. So the next step is to feel that lead where, I go to work. That's my job. That's it.
That's your regular
No,
mode.
no, no Uber,
Yeah,
no
deuces to the
teaching.
Uber. Yeah, deuces to the
Hey,
Uber.
And me, I'm
yeah,
gonna be back here and say, we had her on the radio show.
Right. Yeah,
yes,
deuces to the Uber, because somebody gonna be driving you to
Yeah.
work.
that part.
Yeah, let's
And I'm gonna
make
be
that
talking
happen.
and nice and lovable then.
Right. I hear you. Now, back in February 2021, when you actually won the award for Best Actress for indie film Rest Area, how exciting was that to be recognized by your peers, and not
I,
only be recognized for nomination, but they called your name and say, "Come on up here and get this award. You the best."
man,
How was that
that
moment
gave
for
me
you?
chills. They
Yeah.
gave me chills because again, we were still in pandemic, so I didn't know about an award show. I just know our film was being submitted
Mm.
into these things, and then when he sent me the thing saying best, it really didn't hit me. Then I was like, wait a minute, girl, you won an award, because we don't have the actual go up and get
Yeah.
nothing or this.
Oh.
But it blew my mind that I was so honored. I really, really was. I was so honored. And I remember when he was writing that film, I did another little short part in another short he did. When he
Hmm.
wrote that, he said, Mia, the next one I write, it's gonna be with you in mind, like Mia.
Yeah.
And he wrote that mom role based on me. And it worked because I got to be Mia. You know, it was a lot of things as an actor. I'm always be hard on myself, like, dang, if I would have did this right here, maybe, you know. But so when I got that, because I think it was maybe the ending or something, I wish I wanted to do more, a redo, or I wish I could have said, we were like pushed for time and I wanted to do something else and I didn't. So it always kept me. So when I got that award, I was like, come on, God. They saw it anyway. They saw what I was thinking, you know.
Yeah.
So that was big. That was huge.
That was, yeah. I always want. I know I had Draper on. I asked him the same question when he won his award too. You know, of course, but he was able to fly out and actually receive his on stage. You know,
Man.
But I always wonder because I mean, when you guys are on that ground, like you said, and you're working so hard, you know, I don't. I mean, and you can answer this question. I mean, I would assume this question, but I don't want to answer it for you. It's not about the awards. It's just knowing that you've been seen and recognized for the hard work.
Recognized.
Yeah.
That you know that what you worked hard for, or you were trying to portray, somebody actually saw that. Somebody that don't know you, not your cousin, not your mama.
Right.
Somebody was watching this and said, "Dang, that was good," or "She did that," or "I felt that." And I've watched performances like that, and I'd be like, "Oh my God!" Like I'm just in awe of that person playing that role, and I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for somebody that I know that was doing that voting or whatever, they saw something in me because it's a lot of great work out there. So to, you know, I'm just now starting to, you know, try to be more sensitive to the fact, like I'm auditioning a lot.
Okay.
To get an audition is almost like winning a lottery. And I think I got so used to auditioning, I was ignoring the fact because it was me, the ultimate goal was to be booking. Everything you send me, I want to book it. You know what I mean? And I had lost sight of the fact just to get an audition. I went to a class not too long ago. And it showed how many people are submitted, how many people are selected out of thousands. I'm talking about for little small roles, you know, 1 or 2 lines, you know, you got over 5,000 submissions and they narrowing that down to maybe 80 people they're going to call in. Then down to 40, then down, you know, so, you know, I'm starting to look at just the blessing in the audition, let alone the award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The opportunity to get to perform, to be somebody else.
That's what's up. And then, let me ask you, do you think like the landscape of Hollywood has changed a little bit? And what I mean by that is, like you said, there was an expectation because we've been here for many years when we knew that the mama was running late on Abbott, right? We assumed by the conversation they were having that mama finna show up, if she finna show out. So there was an assumption that she be, I'm putting it out there, ratchet, if you will. Right. You know, but now you showed up and you, like you said, you were professional, you know, and you were at actually a nurse hospital trying to save someone's life. As a whole, do you see Hollywood going more so in that direction instead of giving us those roles that are stereotypical and giving us more roles now? Because we had some back in the past, which we'll talk about later on the topic of the day, but we've had some, but I know lately too, is still some that kind of lean that way. But do you see that landscape kind of changing more towards lifting us up than letting us down?
Definitely so. I'm seeing it more on a network level. Like we still have our shows. It's gonna be our shows and our movies and what we do. And most of the time it's because we're making it for ourselves and we got to make it relatable to our people.
Right.
But I see Hollywood like putting more of those, putting us out in front in more of a professional role, not just putting us out there as the prostitute or the drug dealer or the, you know, the ghetto mom. They are starting. I'm seeing more roles. I'm auditioning for those roles. I mean, because it's at times. I think I was doing an audition with a friend the other day, and she was like, "Where your ghetto at? Like, I need you to like for real." She was like, "What's wrong with you? I know what's this voice you doing? What you do?" And I said, "You know what? I'm almost starting to like forget how to be ratchet in a sense because a lot of things that they're sending me, and I don't know. I said I was gonna go take new headshots because I'm like, wait a minute." I need some, you know, I like those roles. I mean, I don't think it should be every role, but I want to be able to show that I can do both. Like, I don't want to be too versatile. Professional where you don't want to cast me. I don't look hood enough or I don't act hood enough or, you know what I mean? So we still have that because that's still part of our life. So I hope that they don't cloud it away because I think you should be able to see it all.
Yeah.
And what we were fighting so long for, we are definitely getting to see. But let's not forget that as well.
Yeah, and like you said, with your role then, even being the mom, you came in professional. But if you needed to set it off for the love of your daughter, you will, and so will we too. You know what I mean? That's just what that is.
Right. That's real though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Now I looked online trying to do my research, of course. You know
You're
I know
doing
you,
an
but I don't know
awesome
you that well.
job.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at this list I got, and it's at least 3 pages long of things that you have done. We're talking about film, TV,
You cutting
theater,
up.
commercials, the whole nine. I mean, we got Honey, Blackberry Security, Haverty's commercials on film. We got, of course, we mentioned Rest Area, Bid for Love, Love and Drugs too, which you did very well in as well. I watched that.
Thank you.
I mean, so many of these things that you have done over your years that you've been grinding. Can you pick one of your favorite ones outside? We talked about Abbott enough. Outside of that, what was one of your favorite ones that you and outside of the award too? Because we've already talked about that. So outside
Right,
any
right.
of those things that you just like, okay, what's one of your favorite ones that you actually enjoy doing and wouldn't mind redoing that same role?
Um, Being theater, TV,
Either one,
whatever.
yeah, either one, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you came to the show when actually I want to say a Bid for Love is based on it.
I didn't
Or
make it.
loosely. Lord
Okay.
help me. Don't let me say that. Don't say that. Uh,
Okay.
but I was the best friend. I
Okay.
was the one keep it gassed up, keep it doing like that. I've done that role or that type of role twice now in theater.
Okay.
And one was out here in LA, totally different production, totally different thing, totally different ratchet.
Yeah.
And in Dallas, I got to do that. And it's something so I got a standing ovation for the one out here. And they had talked about making it into a movie and so forth, but it never happened. That was before I moved back to Dallas. But she was everything.
Mm.
And her name was Jai. And Jai, she loved her friends. It was about like a reunion with some friends, and she didn't want to keep it out of all everybody together. But she ratchet at the same time,
Yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
still the lovable character, but she keeping it 100. And she was so related. People was walking up saying, "Oh my God, you remind me of my aunt. Oh, you reminded me of my cousin. Oh, you did." That's what I want. And I'm not like that at all, really. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can have my moments, but to hold that character throughout that whole production, that whole time, I would love to have her come back. And
Yeah.
again, what I did in Dallas, I would love to have her come back. It's just something about those roles. I don't know why.
Mm.
It's a challenge,
Yeah.
but it's also a step out of really who I am day to day. I am the professional. I am, the teacher, and I always have to do the right thing when I'm coming in, or just in life in general. Just a
Yeah.
good person. I got kids looking at me. But if I could just step out and be this all day long, something you could see and relate to, that, I would say those were some of my favorite roles. That's it.
Oh. Now, when it's all said and done, right? What
Mhm.
would you have people want to remember about Mia in the acting game? And I'm
Mm.
talking about from the
Oh,
beginning. I'm talking about from the beginning to the end, from the Grove to LA. What example do you hope that you're leaving behind for those who are coming after you?
well, it probably would be more of a lesson of life. Just, she didn't quit. She didn't stop. I've had everything that you could think of that could stop me from this. That I didn't give up. Like, I sacrificed, of course, making good money and living a certain type of lifestyle.
Mm.
But it's the art. It's the thing that I love to do.
Mm.
And I sometimes even with making good money on television, you can call me up. If it's a good role, if it's a good thing, I'm gonna do it for either I ain't gonna say for free, but dang near free. You know what I mean?
Right.
Gotta get some gas money. But I just want people to know, and she always stayed focused with the Lord first. I just think that's important. A lot of us lose sight of that. We think it's all about me. Now I'm telling you, like, I'm being carried. Okay, I'm
Mm.
living a lifestyle that most artists probably. I'm vacationing, I'm doing everything, and that's all God. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, so it's not so much of a grind. At first, it used to be a grind, like, oh, I got to get in this, I got to do in that. Now it's like, oh, I know something else is coming.
Yeah.
So now I'm patient. I go over here and I feed my kids and I live my life and I enjoy my time and doing what I do because I know the roles come. Just be ready.
Yeah.
Just be ready. So
Live
it's
in your
all.
passion. Hmm.
Yeah. So I just would like people to make sure that, one, you got to stay focused, you got to stay dedicated, you definitely got to sacrifice,
Mm.
but you also got to live.
Yeah.
And I've been saying that a lot on my social media. Just live. This is short. Life
Oh
will be
yeah.
gone. And I want them to always say, you know what? Mia was always having a good time. She was
Mm.
always happy about what she was doing, and she was doing it the way she wanted to do it. And that's
Mm.
it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
that end of it.
That's powerful enough. I mean, because again, it's about, like you said earlier, with the grind and just doing it. Because a lot of folks, they want to be out there, they want this to happen, they want this to happen, but they never really looked at how much work you got to put in. And the key word out of all that is that sacrifice. I mean, luckily, and you hope that as you're moving forward, if you don't have it, you need to grab you one, and that's a good support system. Because
Absolutely.
I mean, from family to beyond. I mean, we talked about earlier about folks who are knowing you because you've been in a role and so forth. I learned something when I was in radio school, and they were basically talking about what they call P1s, priority ones, twos, and threes. Your priority ones is your immediate family. They're gonna
Yeah.
always show up for you.
Oh,
They're gonna show up for you. They're gonna tell you good job when it ain't really a good job. I mean, we know them folks
right.
on American Idol can't sing worth a damn, but they family said, "Girl, you good.
That's the
Try out,"
baby.
And then you
Yeah.
got your priority twos or your distant family members, and because they're aware of you, they know you. I don't kick it like that, but they know you a little bit, or
Right.
coworkers and so forth. But in those threes, they don't have any idea who you are. Don't know you from no one, but they see you. And again, like I said earlier, you did something or played a role that touched them, and now they become one of your biggest fans. And so now you're
Yeah.
taking your priority threes and you turn them into your ones. And that's always
Yeah.
important. That's why when you said earlier about responding, I think that's important, because
Yeah.
those folks never knew you before. And they know you now,
Right.
and they're just trying to get not closer just so they can say they know you, to show you, hey, some
Right.
of them are legitimate and say, hey, I'm a
Really
fan of yours.
supporting.
I'm trying to,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be in the same space you in. So what advice can you give me? So forth and so on,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And sometimes I think those responses too, they motivate folks
Yeah.
who are dreaming
Yeah.
the same dream you're dreaming, but to see
I
you
get it.
respond. Yeah.
That's definitely rewarding, and probably something else I want to leave. Going back to that question, I get so many. I got some now. I was looking to try to cut and paste what advice I've given, because I've given it so much, and I'm writing it. I'm taking my time to tell them steps on what they need to do, depending on what city they're in or anything. I would want somebody to go, you know what? No matter how big she got, no matter what she did, she took her time out to respond to stuff. Like, I have people, because social media, I have people talking to me like in Washington, like, hey, I mean, I see you doing your thing. What advice can you give me? If I could pull up my inbox now, you would see it. And I'm going to take my time. I go, hey, I'm in Miami right now kicking it, but I'm gonna hit you up next week and I'll let you know. And I get back. Or I go, hey, I ain't forgot about you. Da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. Whether it be getting their children in or getting themselves in. I've had the life of both. My daughter is successful in what she does. So I want to make sure that, I think that's so important. Give back.
Yeah.
Somebody want to be where you at, and where you at ain't where you trying to go. But in the meantime, I can still help somebody else out.
Yeah.
And I've helped people out that has surpassed me. That I
Yeah.
probably couldn't get on the phone right now.
Right. Yeah.
And that's sad to me. You know what I mean? To me, I wouldn't want to be remembered as that person.
Yeah.
I want to be remembered as the person where, no matter what she was doing, she took her time out to hit back. And mind you, you may not have a lot of time, but you got time.
Yeah.
Make it.
And you're not, and again, it's not an obligation. You're not obligated, but
Right.
and that's the thing. People need, understand, if you take the time, you are taking the time because you do care, and you're not going to be able to
I
reach,
genuinely care.
you're not going to be able to reach everybody or return everybody's message, phone call, or what have you. But at least you're trying. When you have the
Right.
time, you take the time and you appreciate, because like I said, when you've been through a somewhat of a struggle and you know what you come from, then you appreciate it a lot more on your way up, and you
Absolutely.
realize it's okay to reach back and say, hey, yeah, how you doing? Or, I got that.
And I guess that is important too. A lot of the times of the people that have surpassed me, or I ain't gonna say surpassed, but doing
Yeah.
a thing that
Yeah.
went on, a lot of times it's a magic thing. It just hit. They got one and hit it. But when you've been at it as long as I've been at it, and I started from the bottom, and I've been gradually making, ain't nobody hooking me up. I've had family members, I've had good friends that got, network with some of the top people, have never said, hey, well, I got Mia, she over here doing this. Can I hook you up? I've never gotten it. And it's probably because everything that I'm getting, we know it came from the Lord, and we know that Mia took the steps to get there and
Yeah.
can appreciate it. And so that's why I'm constantly giving back or taking my time to write to somebody, because it could be you, it can happen.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep believing and keep working at it, and don't forget the people behind you. You just
Yeah.
I would be so proud and flattered that somebody would come and ask me for advice, because that means that, not that, you up on a pedestal so far ahead, but that they look at you as a mentor. So that's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
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 And when it's your turn, it's your turn.
And can't nobody
Yeah,
stop
can't
you.
nobody stop and take it away. When it's
Right.
your turn, it is your turn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. All right, well, family, thank y'all once again for tuning in. We got much more show left, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to get into the I'm So Old School With It topic of the day. And since I have my special guest, Mia, on with us today, today's topic is going to be Mama, I'm, quotation marks, Mama, I'm on TV. All right. Mia has no idea where we're going, but she will find out when we get back from this break, y'all. Let's listen to some good life from Mr. Pre-K Kanye. When I say pre-K, meaning before the Kardashians. Kanye West. It's the good life. All right, y'all keep it locked right here, y'all. It's the Redboi Radio Show.
Okay. Content and conversations for the culture. Mixed with classics. On TRBRS.
Who you know do it better.
Time for I'm So Old School With It.
All right, family, we are back once again. This is the Redboi Radio Show. I am your host, Mr. Redboi, and of course, across from me, I got my girl Angela B is in the building. You good? You good? You got your Starbucks? You ready?
Still kicking, yeah.
You still cooking? All right.
A little bit left.
All right, and of course, y'all, we got our special guest joining us live from L.A. She's big time now. She's in L.A. Miss Mia Hunt is in the building. All right, so let's get into this topic, ladies. I want to hear from y'all, okay? So today's topic for I'm So Old School With It is called Mama, I'm, in quotation, on TV. So when I speak of I'm speaking of us. I'm speaking of black folks who have came up in the game in television from way back when until now. So I want to hear from y'all. You can name your favorites or whatever, just or what we'll go through and go around and talk about those black actors and actresses, all right, as we were coming up as kids who probably sparked us to follow a dream, whether good or bad. And when I say good or bad, meaning their influence on us, okay? Whether it was good or bad, because I know we've had some that came up and they done acted a fool as they got as they got their little money later on in life, right? But I just want to reminisce and go back to that. I'm talking about, like I said, when we were kids, what was some of the characters that looked like us, that we saw on TV that influenced us or made us feel like we were definitely represented, okay? So it's called Mama, I'm on TV, okay? Y'all got me?
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna start this thing off, okay?
Please
and I'm
do.
thinking backwards or whatever. One of the first things that I can remember that inspired me on TV, okay, was to a black couple, okay, and it was on. You know how grandma and them. I swear to God, my grandma and them every day in the summertime, they would watch soap operas, and you would think it was, and they'd be on the kitchen table gossiping about it, and I didn't know what a soap opera was. All I knew is while they in there playing cards and slapping bones, they talking about somebody. I didn't know who it was until I actually watched my first ever soap opera. But one thing that motivated me about one of the soap operas was All My Children. Do y'all remember Angie and Jesse from All My Children?
I loved Angie Jesse.
Man, and I'm going to tell you to this day, Deborah Morgan is still pretty as I don't know what.
Yeah,
Them dimples, hey, they take me out every time I see them. Every time. So,
Absolutely.
did y'all ever watch that? Did you ever watch?
I did religiously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were hard workers. They wasn't in the ghetto. You know, they were very hard working, and they
Well,
loved
Jesse
one
had some crime stuff going on. I don't know.
a little bit, yeah. But they were living there, yeah. But that was one of the first things I saw on TV as a young man, to see a black couple together that way. You know, even though they were on another show that was predominantly white, they still showed up, and they weren't playing maids or butlers. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's one of mine.
Pine Valley.
Yeah. So Angela, what's one of yours?
Well, you know, I grew up and I wanted to see somebody like me. And I got this in school all the time, with Different World with Whitley. And I was totally not Whitley. But it was so funny because Winnie was on there, and Winnie was actually mixed, but you couldn't tell.
Okay.
You know, we didn't consider her mixed because she looked black, but she was actually black and white. But that's who I resonated with, having a mixed girl. Because back then, there wasn't that many mixed girls.
Yeah, I got you. Mia, how about you? What's one of yours? And we'll keep going around, and we'll think of some as we go along.
I about to say that was hard, so I'm gonna have to fast forward a little bit.
Yeah.
It won't be so old school because I was trying. I guess I can still stay back in the day with this one because I don't know the actor's name, but What's Happening? The mama.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Mama,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Going to work, coming in, they was always cutting up, but I could relate to that. You know, her as a black mama just going to work and all that, but her kids, you know, she was very like disciplined with her kids. She didn't play with them, and they knew that.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it was relatable then. It always reminded me, mom, aunt, whatever. When she was on TV, I was like, oh, that's a character that I see in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That mom, fire coming in, purse on the thing, but they still cutting up. So it was a lot of them. But What's Happening, I just went back to that and thought about that one.
Yeah, because even What's Happening, as you look at the crew with Roger and them, I mean, just even the intro itself, them outside playing basketball in the street. I remember those days, you know, either basketball or playing football in the street. It was easy to relate to that, of course, you know what I mean? And of course, the family dynamic that they had, you know, it wasn't about and I say this very carefully because as much as I do respect where we are right now in Hollywood, and it's good to tell our stories. I love those old school stories when we're looking at, like you said, What's Happening. It wasn't about the street life. You know what I mean? It was more about family dynamics and how we work through these current problems that we have, but it didn't involve the drugs, the guns, and everything else. You know what I mean?
Very true.
So that's very, and like I said, I'm not knocking the new stuff. Hey, because I'm happy that we're still telling a story.
Right.
You know, but I'm just saying those are the old school way of it, looking back and noticing how that was, and just how we've came so far from
we
that.
would be at home by ourselves, and your mama could still go to work, and we ain't nobody
right.
up the house, ain't nobody running to drugs. You better get them bikes from off the yard. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It just reminded me of that. The mama had to work 2 or 3 jobs still, but it wasn't.
Yeah. You're right, and I like the fact when you said mama can leave you at home early, because nowadays, I know there's an age limit when you can leave your kids at home by themselves.
Oh, I had to look it up being a single mom.
But when we came up though, early. I won't tell, but early on,
yeah, most definitely.
we was left by ourselves, and there was always 2 codes to know what you're supposed to do with it if somebody come to the house or they call, right?
Yeah.
My mama used to always do the knock, the dun 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 dun, but she would start at the top and then knock at the bottom. So then I know, okay, that's my mama. I ain't got to get up and look at the peephole out the window. That's my mama. And if she calling, the phone gonna ring twice, and I'm gonna hang up, and then I'll ring it again. That's how we knew. Okay, that's the only time we can open the door or answer the phone. We had codes because we was young, being left alone by ourselves.
We had to run upstairs and look out the window. Don't look out the downstairs window. Run all the way upstairs. Look out.
You don't touch that door.
Right.
You better not. I don't care what. If I don't get in with my key, if I'm not, you don't. Yeah, that was us. I mean, it was so funny because one of my cousins is on the live right now, and my mama went to the store, and he told him, let's not open the door. He started telling me stories about Bigfoot. And had us both scared. We done got so scared. We in the closet. She come look for us, think somebody kidnapped her. We in there crying because he even made me think Bigfoot was coming. But you was just home. So that's crazy.
And it's so funny now, even as an adult and my son, and we're at home sometimes, I had to catch myself telling him, get away from the door. But I'm standing there. I'm gonna protect you anyway, so it don't matter. But I always, because he'll go, especially because like we order food. He know that's what's coming. I know that's what's coming. Is the food delivery guy, right? But because of what was embedded in me as a child, not to go to that door. Now it's a habit to tell me, get away from that door. And can't nobody see in the door. The door, it's 2 doors to get in. It's secure. The alarm is on, the whole 9. But it's the habit that we came up with. You know what I mean?
Because we'll sit on the couch, the doorbell ring, and I said, "Was you expecting anybody?" Olivia could be like, "No." She said, "You ain't going to the door?" Ain't nobody called me on my phone.
Right.
I don't need to go investigate.
Yeah.
That part.
All right. So let me say another one. Now, even though I know this may not be much of an influence per se, because the dynamic of the show, but at that time it felt like it was there for us, if you will, and I put that in quotes because now that I look back at history or whatever, but seeing and I'm saying this from a standpoint of coming from the hood, right? We always wanted to be in a better place. Once we and I mean this from the time you realize that you were actually poor, because it took a while, right? But once you realized you were actually poor and there were better places to be, and I'm not saying it was a great influence, but it was good to see. And I'm talking about different strokes. I'm talking about Arnold and Willis as brothers growing up in that environment. You know what I mean? Like I said, they weren't like great influences, but they were good to see.
Oh yeah,
on TV,
that we could live a different lifestyle.
There was a different lifestyle out there. Now, of course, they were having someone help them get through that.
Right.
But of course, now I related to it personally from a personal standpoint because I was also in and out of foster homes my whole life. So when I saw that, it was kind of inspiration, knowing that okay, it's gonna get better sooner or later. So those 2 actors, being young black men in that household, helped me realize, okay, there's something else coming for me.
I thought that about Tootie. Because I was like, black girls can go to boarding school. We got boarding school money.
2 facts of life, right?
Yeah, facts of life.
Ken Fields.
We can go to boarding school. In my head, when I was little, that was a little white girl thing.
Yeah, exactly.
A rich white girl thing. So
that'll work. Me, you got another one? I'm gonna pick y'all's brain now. So many of them out there.
Y'all gonna say I'm just the shows I was watching, but really, what really hit home for me also, and it's still on that whole same old school mama take, and I guess because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, but Good Time.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Flow, and standing by her man, and just being it was something about her that, people you say, when we watching, oh, she get on my nerves. She, James do whatever he want to do. And, the kids did it, but it was something about Flo and just a mama seeing that's the old school mom that always holds the house down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hold the house down from almost like a Black perspective, like getting the dinner ready, the food together, all the shenanigans it was going. I guess most on all those shows, the mothers always stuck out to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why,
Yeah.
and they're different elements, and they were different moms, from her to Claire Huxtable, the working mom entered the scene. But back then, when on What's Happening, her working and doing this, she didn't have much time to be at home, but she was still present.
Yeah.
So I look at Good Time, she was at home all the time, yet it was a hierarchy. She had the man in the house, but she still was kind of running the show.
Hold it down. Oh yeah. Now, and I'll give props to that. We can sit there and talk about it all day for me, but that to me will always be, no matter what show you're looking at, the backbone of the family is the mother anyway. Always, no matter how you can twist it, turn it. I don't care who bringing in the most money, vice versa, bringing home the bacon. Mama hold it down.
Yeah.
And that's always a big inspiration when you see that, especially like you said, when we see it. That is definitely that. And like you said,
it's so funny how they don't have, like, on you did Different Strokes, and it was one other I just thought of when they had the mom Nell.
Nell Carter,
always a substitute, and you still play that mother role.
Yeah,
it's that foundation. So those roles always stuck out in my head. So
yeah. Now, go ahead. You got one? Yeah.
Growing up military and everything, I love 227. Because I grew up on a military bases, so everybody was in everybody's business. You had the snitch, the one that's looking out the window. My mom didn't work because, she didn't have to, being a military wife, and the wives were always outside. And I mean, everybody was in everybody's business. I couldn't get in trouble because I'm probably going to get whooped 3 times to get to the house because everybody knew. I'm like, Dad, we can't keep nothing secret around here.
Funny.
You know what's funny when you think about
I never knew that that was something based about the military. I watched
No, it wasn't. But it was just that they were all in the same apartment building. So in the military, you live in housing, and everybody knows everybody in housing. Like you can't got in trouble down the street. By the time you get back to the house, everybody knows. I'm like, man.
Yeah, and thinking of 227, it's wonderful for me now to see, because again, that's so long ago. But you look at Regina now, and look how far she's come.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? How inspirational she's been on the way up as well. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. Sometimes you forget about those characters.
And back then, we were trying to emulate skinny white girls. That was the thing of beauty. And you had Jack A, and she was curvy, and she was sexy, and she was bossy. So you got to see another woman, and not just a Black woman that's kind of plump and ain't keeping herself together. Whatever. This woman was cute and fine and was working it.
And I felt that way about Walona on Good Time.
Oh yeah, everybody liked Walona.
Auntie, neighbor, whatever, they come in, and I have some of my mom's best friends that used to come over that didn't have the kids or anything, but they was just so fabulous. Everything about them was fabulous. So that was kind of like just an inspiration to see. That's I want to be like Walona, man. Walona got it going on, So and Jack A, awesome.
And speaking of folks that don't take no mess, because we know Mama don't take no mess. Let's talk about Florence. I mean, what her character brought to the world, man.
Me some Florence.
Oh my God, when she came out and the attitude and everything. Of course, it was funny, but at the same time, you can also relate. Like you pushed the wrong button. Oh, it's on and popping. You know what I mean? I love that character and the dynamic that she had. Yeah.
It's acting goals. See, something like that. Something where you just remember you can always depend on Florence. She would give it to him. She would give it to Mr. Jefferson. And I loved it.
Yeah. Yes. And what I loved most about that character as well, when folks who I would say the new school, if you will, they think of her and they bring her back, because I know y'all remember watching Martin when they actually brought her on to be their maid at the time, and even though they named her something different, she still had the flow attitude, So when they reached back to bring her on, that was something wonderful. And then I watched the Martin reunion. They brought her on too to talk about that particular role, because it stands out. Oh yeah, you got to see it because it actually stands out. Flo was something else. Now,
Yeah.
one in the background that is often missed because we don't see this show on a lot of times, but she held her own, and that was Miss Marsha Warfield in Night Court. Y'all
Oh,
remember that?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she definitely
Yeah.
held her own. You know, she was
Oh,
a
most
strong.
definitely.
Yeah, she was a
In
strong
Night
strong
Court.
role. Yeah, in Night
Mhm.
Court. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
I
her.
heard they're bringing Night Court back, so that's gonna be
Really, they're doing a
What?
reprise.
Mm-hmm.
See, when they start
Because one of them died, and I'm trying to think. It was the main character. I want to say.
the
I thought
judge,
it was
Yeah,
the
somebody died.
lady. Yeah, somebody did that, but
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it Frankie Post?
you got me. I didn't.
The
I know,
lawyer?
yeah.
That was the white woman with the spike in her
Yeah,
hair.
I think it was her.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
somebody
That's why I was
big
about to say,
time.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's a white woman, but yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't watch as much, but I knew Night Court, and I definitely knew that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those characters.
And I'm always thinking about when they do reprises because when you have, and again I'm bringing up Marsha Warfield because she was definitely in her character, and again we can
Mhm.
relate to her type of character, you know, being at work
Yeah.
around all of that and so forth. So if you're gonna do a reprise, I'm wondering who they're gonna bring back, you know, or who
Right.
they're gonna get to replace that, and can they bring
They're
the
gonna have to
same
replace everybody because
energy?
hell, they
Well, I know they're gonna
all
replace. I'm
they
talking about the
all
energy
80.
wise. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Creating those characters.
Yeah,
like,
those
Right.
characters stood out
I
a
heard
lot.
it was coming back. That would have been something I would have loved to audition for. Like
Yeah.
her role to
Mhm.
be
Yeah,
to be that, you know.
because
So
we
I
all
don't
can
know.
relate. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
I know
haven't
they're
looked
trying.
it up to see.
Yeah, because I know they're trying to bring it to a new audience. You know what I mean? And I get that. So the new folks that are in those roles will be completely different to the new folks. But for us old school folks, I want to see a little bit of that
Oh,
old school
definitely
as
so.
well. You know what I mean? That's just me because
Mhm.
especially like I said, the characters that they played in that was pretty good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Now I know we talked about this earlier. We mentioned definitely one of the biggest influence. And that's why I said at the beginning of this topic, good or bad. All right, because we can't deny it. All right. Bill Cosby was definitely a huge influence on us. You
Mhm.
know, when you look back now, because I know he's been in so much of the legal trouble, but if you take it backwards, you're looking at two professional people, one being a doctor, one being a lawyer. Now, at that time, of course, it might have felt like to us that was impossible because that's not what we were used to seeing
Mhm.
where we grew up, but it was still a reality.
And they played regular people. I mean, they
Exactly,
had
yeah.
professions, but they were regular mom and dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only regular mom and dad, but they also, which is now, it wasn't so much back then, it wasn't prominent as back then, but now look at where we are, right? And now how much people are influenced to make sure they go to
yeah.
an HBCU.
They were
Yeah.
ahead of their time. They were ahead of their
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Or either they were ahead of their time or they were the influence of our time.
And I say that's why I'm taking it, Mama,
Yeah.
on TV. I want to go back to that because
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
you look at it, that was he was definitely pushing all of his kids to go
Well,
to HBCU, and they
Well,
graduated
he's
from.
pushing
Yeah.
them to go to college.
Yeah.
I didn't get pushed to go to college. I came
Mm.
from a generation to clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
So I didn't get pushed to go to college. And I made sure, my son, he was like, that ain't for him. And I was like, okay. My daughter was very specific on going to HBCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mine as well. Mm.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Hillman.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I did, and even the characters they had. You look at the like you mentioned the Willies, the Wayne Way, with the flipping glasses. I mean,
hmm
think about how much they meant to the culture because
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
going to the mall once that show came on, and everybody, all the fellas, went to go get them glasses.
Get them glasses.
That there was no purpose for them glasses other than just style alone. You know what
Well,
I
I
mean?
wanted, my hair is naturally curly, like Whitley's.
Mhm.
But up until that point, I was wearing it straight because my idols and stuff were white girls. So I had the big bangs and all that. And then when Whitney came out, she's got her natural curly hair. And I was like, oh, my hair actually does that. I can actually wear it like that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, have you ever wore your hair particularly like a character that you saw on TV or anyone you saw on TV for that matter?
I probably fell into the same thing everybody did back then, the isometric cut.
Oh, yeah.
One was up and one was down, but that was
Mhm.
more of a
Living
MC
single,
Lyte,
Queen Latifah
rap,
with that.
right,
Yeah.
Queen Latifah, all
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
We definitely, and let me not even forget Holly Berry coming in
Oh, my
Boomerang.
God.
Everybody wants that haircut.
Yes.
Because I was like, if that haircut make me look like that, give me that haircut. You know what I'm saying? Holly Berry was everything when she came out of that, and Toni Braxton, that short haircut
Oh, yeah.
that she had,
Yeah.
Anita Baker. I mean, it can go on. It was mostly music probably that influenced me on the hairstyles and to wear my hair like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then we talked about like I said with the Cosby Show, whatever. Going back to moms, Claire was very inspirational. You know
Oh,
what I mean? 'Cause
yeah,
she
most
she
definitely.
was her professional side, but she brought when Mama had to take care of business.
Yeah.
Mama took care of business. I
Yeah.
mean, even
That's the first time I saw you could discipline children without beating them.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause I grew up with a whooping.
Yeah.
There was no time out.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a generation where there was no explaining. They did a lot of explaining on why they did things on the Cosby Show, why you got to be punished and why. I didn't get no explaining. You did wrong and this is the punishment.
Right.
Because I told you to.
Yeah, there's no explaining. So, I'm watching it with my dad. I'm like, you see how they be explaining what the
See how
kid
they
did,
doing that? Yeah. Right.
It kind of give you a reason not to do it again versus, just because I said so.
Yeah. Now, since we're on that
Yeah.
whole level of the Cosby and different world, let me reach back and give now that she's gone, give her flowers, and that's Miss Mary Alice, because she just passed away last week, and I remember how her character when she came on, how soft spoken she was. She actually made you want to hear what she had to say.
Yeah.
And
That was in a different world, right?
yes, yeah,
Mhm.
and if you look, there's so many characters that were on those
Oh, yeah.
shows that are still working today, but you remember the particular roles because they were so
Most
important
definitely.
for that time to give us a lesson that we needed
And
to
the
learn.
father roles that they had up in there. They had the Colonel. They had
Mhm.
Mr. Gaines.
Yeah.
I mean, men that weren't the actual fathers that stepped up and took the father role.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah. You got another one, Mia, you thinking of?
As far as any
Just any character from we try and do old school, but you can bring it as close as you can.
yeah.
I know we don't want to tell everybody our age, but yeah.
Right. I was like, I need to come up a little bit. 'Cause, I'm playing too much. Oh my gosh. Let me see. I had them locked and loaded, and I got lost in the thinking about everything y'all was saying, and I forgot mine. I don't know. Come back to me.
Okay.
Because I gotta think back of who I had.
All right. So I got another influencing show. And I say this about this show because it showed another hardworking man and another hardworking money. They didn't have the best like we look at it now because we all striving to be in a different place from where we were when we grew up. You know what I mean? Some as far as having more things and more things to do. But I appreciated this show so much, even though it was on for a short amount of time. But just seeing the man and the wife and the way they came together, even in hard times, and that was Rock.
Oh,
Rock.
I loved Rock.
Because you had Rock and he had his
I loved
wife
Rock.
Eleanor, and of course you got that one brother that ain't doing too well, always trying to hustle. You know what I'm saying? So that the show Rock also was a big influence on me too, because even though he never let his occupation, define who he was.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? He was still a good man, regardless of his occupation. And I really
Blue
appreciate
collar.
that show. Yeah, basically blue collar. Yeah, I did dig that a lot. So definitely some good characters on there.
Well, I got one for you, a throwback, and it was entertainment TV show, Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
He
know
was
what?
the first of his kinds when you have all these late night show guys, and they're all white.
Yeah.
And they're funny. I mean, they're funny,
And
but the Arsenio, everybody was flocking to see Arsenio, and he was mainstream. He's dating Paula Abdul. He's dancing. He's singing. He's got acts up on there, and I mean, he just made you feel like, hey, I'm in there, on the set with them. He was more personable.
Yeah.
Broke it down.
I do that because I have you ever seen the movie Talk to Me with Don Cheadle?
No.
That movie
I saw
it's about Petey Green, who was a convict basically, but he got out of prison, of course, and he became a nationally known radio DJ, and a comedian, and so forth, and somewhat of an activist, right? Well, in that movie, basically, it shows the dynamic of how back then, because you just mentioned Arsenio, and back then, of course, if you made it to Johnny Carson, you were the it, right? So now when Arsenio steps in, now it's let's go to Arsenio. Now we know we finna get our shine on because this is us, so this is our people. So let's go to Arsenio. Now we really show people what we can do. And
Right.
so Arsenio was definitely big. And if I remember correctly, I mean, even I know while in school, I think it was like a Sunday night thing. Because Sunday night, I believe it had Martin, and then right after Martin was In Living Color. And if you were lucky enough, and Mama let you stay up that night, then you can catch Arsenio as well.
I know it was late.
on a
Yeah.
Sunday night. Yeah, because you knew Monday was school, but if you know if your
Mhm.
mama let you stay up to watch, I said if like one of your favorite actors coming on, or
Mhm.
one of your actors or actresses coming on, then mama let you stay up and watch that one. So I remember that whole night, Sunday night being our night. You know what I mean? Because you
Right.
you saw a little bit of everybody
Mhm.
in that particular time. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
very enjoyable. The impact of Martin. I mean, we talked about the
Oh, yeah.
reunion, but even the impact of Martin. You know, some
Yeah.
of the things that they've done on that show. Again, hardworking, whatever. Him and his
Mhm.
wife, and eventually getting married, or whatever. But I even now, when you look back, there is not one episode of Martin that comes on, and I get to the point where okay, I can turn the channel. Every time,
Right,
if I
right,
catch
right.
it on, I'm
Mhm.
sitting down and I'm watching it. And
Oh,
I've
yeah,
seen him
hilarious.
thousands of times. But I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna recite the lines. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell the joke and everything else. You know what I mean? Because that was just how big
Oh,
Martin
yeah, he
was.
was
Yeah,
big time, big time.
yeah. So if you're gonna do a
And I,
reprise, bring that back.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and I mean it's more up to date, kind of sorta. But when they did the show Soul
Oh
Food,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the sisters dynamic,
Hmm.
Mhm.
I could relate to,
Yeah.
and having your sisters and dealing with a shakeup in the family with the grandmother passing and how things, and the brother-in-laws and all of the ins and out that goes with just the fam. I thought it did a good job at really kind of relating a lot of what we go through as family. And you had successful women, you had the housewife,
Hmm.
you had the young sister that really felt entitled but trying to do the hair and have big inspiration. So the Soul Food for me was um, good as well, like a
Hmm.
good example of a household. I
Yeah.
loved the movie, and then when they made it into a show, I couldn't say anything wrong with that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
look, that's a lot of reason why some black folk went out and got Showtime.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's soul food.
Oh, big
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
Most
yeah.
definitely,
We
most
I mean, but
we
definitely.
made sure we could
it was
afford it. Yeah.
I loved
yeah,
the TV show Girlfriends.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
wanted that sisterhood and everything. That was part of why I joined a sorority. Because you want that sisterhood. You want girlfriends who from different walks of life, we can come together and, share our life. You
Yeah,
want
yeah.
somebody that you can soundboard on. And not to say that y'all men ain't important, but women, we gonna be there for each other regardless. Come and go through that man and this man or what don't work or whatever. And, that's the backbone where to have somebody that you can talk to and not be embarrassed about something,
Right.
Yeah.
I got a bump on the back of my butt, somebody you can tell, and not be embarrassed
We'll
about it.
work that out. That's
Right.
right, right,
And,
right.
so
Yeah.
I loved Girlfriends with the different dynamics of their personalities and stuff. Because we all
And
got
you
that
can
one
relate.
girlfriend, she get a man, you ain't gonna hear from her
You
again
ain't
for a
gonna hear
minute.
it.
Mhm.
You got one that's gonna be out there, she's hoeing. I mean, everybody got that
It
girlfriend.
kept it real.
Right.
It did. I
So-
mean, I even felt like that with Living Single.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Those
Yes.
women and those guys to coexist like that,
Right.
So
That's cool.
I enjoyed that too. I mean, a lot of oh man, y'all bringing back all the shows. That was-
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and I
Mhm.
remember on Living Single, boy, I was rooting for Maxine and Carlton. Carlton had got
Yeah.
fired off of the
Mhm.
show,
Yeah.
so I was like, it's ending. We all know the show is
Wow.
ending, and we ain't gonna be able to get Carlton back. And they
Mhm.
let him come back because they knew they couldn't end the show without him.
Without
Yeah.
putting them together,
Right? Because we
all
had to
really-
have that love story.
We
You
needed-
know.
yeah.
I love how they were fighting it. Like they didn't want to,
Yes.
like they couldn't stand each other, always cracking on each other. I loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
the highlight.
Yeah, because even different world, you had to have Dwayne and Willie
Whitley.
Martin. You had to have him and Gina.
Yep.
All those things
Yeah.
came to play.
you had
Oh
to
yeah,
have that balance of the way
Yeah.
they, and that
Right.
I love the Pam and Martin beat.
Oh yeah.
You got that. You
Yeah.
had
Oh
that.
yeah. Got that right now.
and I know
But-
we were younger at the time, so we weren't. And I'm gonna mention two things that happened on television that we weren't very much knew how big the impact was at the time that we came up.
Mhm.
One being, okay, and I'll get to the next one here in a second, but one being watching In the Heat of the Night when Sidney Poitier slapped the mess out of that police officer. And that was the first time
I
that
didn't
it
see
ever.
that.
You haven't seen the Heat of the Night movie with
Uh-uh.
Sidney? Oh, you got to watch it. It's a
Mm-mm.
particular scene. I believe he's going to investigate. He's asking some questions, and I'm sorry, it wasn't the police officer because the police officer was his partner, but there was a gentleman. I think they're in like they had a floor shop. Is that right? Me, have you ever seen The Heat of the Night?
No.
Original movie?
no.
Okay.
See me
Well, they're in a
Yeah.
they're in a floor shop. Sydney is a detective. Okay, because y'all know
That's
what
what
y'all
one
know
of-
the Heat of the Night. So
One of my friends
Yeah.
on my live, that's what he wrote in there, the Heat of the Night. And I was like, Heat of the
Yeah.
Night.
Yeah, I don't know about no Heat of the
Yeah,
Night.
that-
I
that-
saw.
that
I
was
mean,
a
I knew
TV
it was
show.
aware of it, but I never
Yeah.
watched it.
there was a
Me
TV.
neither.
There was a TV show when you had I can't remember the actor's name, the gentleman, the black actor. but and then
He had the big eyes, right?
yeah,
No?
somewhat, but his partner at that time was whoever played Archie Bunker. I can't remember his name either.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
the original movie itself had Sidney Poitier in it, and when they're
Okay.
in this shop, he's doing an investigation, and the way he he's trying to ask his floor some questions, this white gentleman, and the dude is being nasty with Sidney, and so he try to keep Sidney in his place, so he reaches up and he smacks him.
Mhm.
So
Right.
Sidney was like, "Really?" Pow, and he slaps him back. And I
Yeah,
didn't know
we've
it.
seen that.
Yeah, and at that time, I didn't know that was the first time in movie and or TV that they
Wow.
allowed a black man to actually put his hands on the white
Oh,
man
I
in such,
didn't know
that
that.
manner, and
Now I gotta go
and the
look
white
this
man
up.
not being able to respond because he would have been, treated a different way.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very important moment. And the other moment I want to talk about, and may God rest her soul as well. She also just passed away recently, and that's Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek.
Oh,
Well, the first time you ever seen opposites kiss on film or TV
Oh yeah.
was when she kissed Captain Kirk on Star Trek.
Mm,
Oh yeah, that was a big
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and but again, we didn't know how important that was back then because we weren't privy to it. But now as I'm getting old and I'm starting to see those things back when we were on TV and when we were
And
where
she
we were
was one of
placed.
those my sexy role models.
Yeah, she looked nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
she yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
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 She definitely was.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
definitely was. So it's just those different moments that I look at as well. If we are to come up more so, let me see. What are some other ones that were kind of, I would say, influential? Because we were there were times that we were on TV, but I don't think we got seen enough. But there was, now that I'm thinking, there was one show. It was also on for one season. But I think if we're looking at the times we were in at the time of the '90s, and all the movies that were coming out that time, you had Boys in the Hood, you had Menace to Society, and someone took a chance and put a show similar to that on TV. And this is the first time I actually really got to appreciate the artistry of Lorenz Tate. And that's South Central. Do y'all remember when South Central was on?
I didn't watch it.
I
Y'all
didn't
didn't watch South
either.
Central?
No, I
Oh
didn't
my
watch it.
God.
That's just what I couldn't relate to it. So I didn't watch shows too much that I couldn't relate
go
to.
back and if you're able
What year
to.
was that?
I think
Okay.
South Central came out in either 90 or 91. They really only had one season, but Lorenz Tate at the time was just actually a son growing up in LA, growing up in Compton, just trying to find a better way. His mom was very strong as well. She tried to keep him from the streets. And in the show, he ends up falling in love with a girl, but she lives on the other side of town, and mama don't want him riding the bus. How dangerous it is, but he sneaks out to go see her, and this all comes together. But then after those couple shows and one of his boys got killed and so forth and so on. I don't think it just held enough of the audience to keep it. I loved it.
Yeah, because
it was, like I said, at that time, it was relatable.
Yeah, I don't recall it.
If y'all
I
ever
missed
have a
that one.
chance, go look at South Central, and that's when I really got to
love Lorenz.
appreciate
Oh,
Lorenz.
yes.
Yeah, he was very, very good. And also, and I'm sorry, I'm bad when it comes to names, but the you remember when LL Cool J had the show In the House?
In the house
And-
was
and-
good.
and
Definitely.
The Campbell.
The female, yeah, Mia
Mia
Campbell.
Campbell.
She's also on South Central, so she's the girlfriend that Lorenz falls in love with. Yeah.
And that's what we was going to talk about. The sad part of television is she
Yeah.
had all that fame and stuff because, she's bad off right now.
Yeah,
She's real bad off. And she
Unfortunately.
was the most beautiful,
Oh, she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
just the most beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Her and Tatiana Ali, they were just gorgeous that you got to see on
Gorgeous.
TV. And they were natural gorgeous because there wasn't no enhancements, no makeup.
Right.
They were just beautiful on their own.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to mention towards the end of this conversation, but I'm glad you brought it up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that we look at now, and why I love saying I'm so old school with it, because you look at most of the ladies back then, and I'm talking about the Claire Huxtables. I'm talking about the Eleanor Emersons on Rock.
Mhm.
All those women were just naturally beautiful. And you said there was no enhancement, there was nothing. But I'd be proud to say I know I was young at the time, but dang it, I had a crush on both of them.
Oh,
Yeah. And I can't forget, because I kind of watched the mixed shows a lot,
Yeah.
and I just thought about Dynasty with Diane Carroll.
Oh, Diane Carroll slapped the crap out of
man.
Linda
Yeah,
Evans. Boy,
yeah.
she
She
slapped the
was
crap.
Yeah.
everything to me.
Yeah.
Just, diva to the highest point. of
Come in the
diva.
house
Yeah.
with a fur.
Yeah, and I love to see it. That was magical to me.
Yeah.
I just thought of that.
She was. She
Yes.
was. And I will say, since you
Yes.
mentioned Diane Care, there was one other, and I mean, we got plenty of more.
Right.
So I know
Right.
we got to get
That
ready.
one there.
Yeah, we got to get ready to log off here. But there was plenty more. But just since you mentioned Diane Care, one person I thought of I thought was just so beautiful and elegant as well. She hosted a show. Y'all may or may not remember it. Okay.
But I know who you finna say. Go ahead.
Who am I gonna say? Go.
I thought you was gonna
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got it.
I thought you was gonna say, "Oh God, now you gotta make." But she did the show. Go ahead, and I'll tell you.
In this particular show, it was our, and I can't right now because my mind is tripping because I can't remember the name of the show, but it was like Our American Bandstand. But it was Marilyn McCool.
Yeah,
that woman right there.
Marilyn McCool.
Oh my God. She was
bad.
She was.
Yeah, say her name again because I was
Marilyn McCool.
Marilyn McCool. Yeah.
It wasn't Soul Train or something like that.
It wasn't Soul Train. It's oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember because I'm looking dead at it. I see the lights. I see her hosting.
Her sisters had a whole group.
And I just cannot remember the name of that show. But I know for me that was Our American Bandstand because I would love to watch it. Yeah.
Yes, honey. You're right. You're right. And that's who I was gonna say, but I was thinking Soul Train, but that's her.
Yeah.
It was Solid Gold.
Solid Gold. There we go. Thank you, Spider. Thank you, Spider.
I'm embarrassed now. I'm so embarrassed now. How do we not remember Solid Gold?
Solid Gold.
God, I'm so embarrassed.
Solid Gold.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. All right,
so up there with Donnie Simpson on
the Video Soul. Yeah, Video Soul.
Man, I thought he was everything with them like
them eyes. Oh my God, the eyes. I didn't know dark skinned men had eyes like that.
One of my friends said Downtown Julie Brown. I don't remember
MTV.
Oh, I used to love Downtown Julie Brown.
She was
and there was two Julie Browns because it was a white Julie Brown and there was Downtown Julie Brown.
Downtown was from she was across the pond though. She was from the UK.
Yeah, she was across the pond.
No, but she was from across. But she was on MTV. She hosted MTV.
She was like, she had Karen White hair, the wavy, curly, long hair, but she was British. Oh, I loved her. Yeah.
It's so many. It's so many. But
natural, beautiful black women.
Yeah, indeed. And if you're if you're listening to me right now, if you're online, family, feel free as you're watching this video or you rewatch the video, leave a comment. Somebody we might have missed on the show because there's so many folks that can say that we're proud of and say that, Mama, I'm on TV that represented us when we were so young and come so far to this day that we can still remember them and they still influence us to stay to do what we got to do. All right, so fam, again, thanks for joining us. But Mia, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, out of your auditions, out of your Uber to join us today, out of the grind, taking time from the grind to be with us today, and not only just be with us, but to leave some tidbits of inspiration for those who are watching not only this show but are watching you. I'm one of them. I can't wait to see what's next for you. I can say this, and not because you're on the show, but I know the moment that I met you myself, you were already grinding then. But as you spoke to Shamar Moore, how down to earth he was, I will never forget how down to earth you were as well, and you've always have been. You're just a good person, good soul. So whatever's coming your way, you definitely deserve it. You definitely deserve it. So, and I thank you so much for doing that.
And that's the legacy I want right there. Mia's can always be down to earth.
There it is. Yeah, look, hey, what they say, I know I can't look. I'm about to say something funny. Try to say something. I can't remember what I want to say now, but it just a lot from those who from here and knowing that you from where you're from and you can still be the person you are now, even though you've made it out there to LA. That's a wonderful thing. So we definitely appreciate that. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media.
Okay, Instagram, put in _ just Mia, JUSTMIA, Mia Hunt on Facebook, Mia Hunt 23 on Twitter, and I want to say my new thing is the TikTok, which is absolutely hilarious. I ran from it for a long time.
Yeah,
and
me
I want
too.
to say on there, I think I'm _ just Mia 23.
Okay.
And just a quick plug on August 12th. There's a new show gonna come out on Hulu. It's a Hulu original called This Fool.
Okay.
It's kind of more Hispanic based, but it looks hilarious. I got me 2 episodes on there, and with hopes of coming back for their second season if they're approved. So I'm trying to get the viewership up for it. And you know, after the radio, that'll be the next thing I'm promoting. So if y'all can, it's called This Fool.
This Fool. There we go.
Is it on already?
August
No,
12th.
it
August
airs
12th.
first, August 12th.
Okay.
On
I'll definitely be
Hulu
on
if
it.
you have Hulu.
Okay.
And so I'm just encouraging and putting the word out. Go watch that.
That is next Friday. You know what time?
Next Friday. Don't know what time.
Okay. But we'll
Hulu.
look for it. It's on Hulu. Hey, and if you catch it on time, if you don't, guess what? It's Hulu, so it'll be there anyway. You're good. Yeah, you're straight.
I just want everybody to watch it, and I'll be Kim. So,
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm not on the first episode, but I'm just trying to get everybody.
Oh, exactly. We're gonna watch
it,
anyway because we should continue to watch because you want it, and we'll help that. Look, that helps you in the long run too. I got it. We got that. But appreciate you again, Mia, for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you for saying yes again. Just
anytime.
I truly appreciate it.
Okay, you said anytime. So when you get this lead and roll, we're going to.
Please. I mean, run.
We definitely don't want you to come back.
Right. Yeah. That's what, because you're going to be there one day.
Yes, most definitely.
Just let me know that I have the information to the PR, please, okay? Because now I can get away with emailing you and Instagram and message you right now. But I know sooner or later that's going to go away. So make sure your boy know how to reach you. Okay.
Yes. My sister Leandra is gonna be my plug. She's gonna do all that. She's not even on my live right now. But she'll make sure that y'all get in touch with me if you know.
That'll work.
No, you can call me. They'll be
work.
like, who is this? What are you talking about?
Oh man, love it. But again, we definitely appreciate you coming on. We definitely do. And for everybody listening and watching this on live, we definitely appreciate y'all tuning in as well. I hope y'all enjoy the show. And like I said, if you have some more comments about the topic, I'm so old school with it, Mama, I'm on TV. Feel free to go ahead and leave them. All right. But what I will leave you with, fam, is this, and that is faith and doubt are two completely opposite words, but yet they share one thing in common, and that is they both believe in a future that has not happened yet. So when it all falls down, family, which one you're going to ride with? You're going to ride with faith, or you're going to ride with doubt? Well, here at the Redboi Radio Show, of course, we'll always ride with faith. I'll let y'all marinate on that. Y'all think about that. Taking us out today, fam, another female that I want to give flowers to, if you will. Coming up on August 9th would have been her 58th birthday. She was one of the greatest voices that we've ever heard in our life. I think I miss her a lot because I just miss hearing her around. I know towards the end of her life, there were some tragic things that happened to her, but we'll never forget what she brought to us when we were kids and all the way up as we were grown. So let's give some love on our way out to Miss Whitney Houston. All right. This is Your Love Is My Love, or My Love, whatever, the title. We're good. All right. So y'all, we love y'all so much. Make sure y'all join us for the next episode, fam. Follow us on social media, YouTube, Instagram, my Facebook, the whole nine. We still going to try to get Angela an Instagram and a TikTok when she feel like it. She
gonna love the TikTok.
Yeah, she forgets she in media now. You need to have all of them so they can stay in touch with you, okay? All right. Shout out to all y'all once again. Shout out to my man Spider-Man for making us look good and sound good. And last and not least, one more time, let me give a shout out to my special guest, Miss Mia Hunt. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful week, fam. Wonderful weekend, and stay blessed and try to stay cool. All right. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Natia, a.k.a. Lil Mama, and you are listening to Classic R&B on Redboi Radio.
listening to the Redboi Radio Show. We'll see you here next time.